In problems 35 through whatever, 45, 46, we're supposed to take the angles that were given and convert these angles to radian measure. So you could see that this angle here, 30 degrees, is given in degrees, and we have to convert that to radians. Well, if we take 30 degrees and we multiply that by pi over 180, we get an easy pi over 180 degrees, that's radians. So we have an easy conversion. So we just take 30 and divide it evenly. 30 degrees divides evenly into 180 degrees 6 times. And so 30 degrees is the same as pi over 6 radians. So really when we show we're multiplying by pi over 180, we're really multiplying by pi radians over 180 degrees, because pi radians is the same as 180 degrees. So we're basically multiplying 30 degrees by 1 in the form of pi over 180. And notice here, not only did the 30 go into the 180 6 times, but the degrees went into the degrees. So the degrees actually cancel. So if you have 30 degrees and divide it by 180 degrees, you just get 6. And you're left with just the radians. So pi over 6 radians. And that's the answer. 30 degrees is pi over 6 radians. Now one thing I should note is that it's really a huge time saver if you can memorize the unit circle. So you always have this unit circle that's broken up into quadrants, and over here we have 0 degrees, that's also 0 radians, and then over here we have 90 degrees, and if we just make our way around the unit circle, we see we have the different degrees all the way around, and this is also 360 degrees all the way around. Well, as you may remember, 90 degrees is pi over 2 radians, 180 is pi radians, 270 is 3 pi over 2 radians, and then 360 degrees is 2 pi radians. And then we have the 3 main angles in each quadrant, and I may or may not have already walked you through this. If I haven't, I'll do this. But here we have our 30 degree angle, 45 degree angle, and 60 degree angle. And basically, we have this number of degrees past the, I guess what I'm trying to say is past the axes. So here we have the x-axis, and the first angle measure that we get to is 30 degrees past this one. Well, this one's 0 degrees, so this first little tick mark on the circle is 30 degrees. Well, if you go all the way up to 90 degrees and you go from 90 to the first tick mark, you add 30 and you get to 120 degrees. So and then you add, so from an axis to the second tick mark would be 45 degrees. Well, if you add 45 to 90, you get 135 degrees. Well, likewise, 30 degrees, as we just said, is pi over 6 radians. And you'll notice quickly, or you'll learn quickly, that this is here pi over 4, pi over 3, pi over 2. So you have 6, 4, 3, 2. And then over here you go 3, 4, 6, 2. Well, what I mean is 3, meaning that 3 is the denominator. And we have 2 pi over 3. And then 4 is the denominator. We have 3 pi over 4. And 6 is the denominator. Here we have 5 pi over 6. And then 2 is the denominator. We have, what did I say, 2? Yeah, well, it's actually 6 is the denominator, 6 pi over 6, that's just pi. Anyway, we'll work through that. And but anyway, you could, if you get stuck, you can always take the whatever degree and you can multiply it by pi over 180 to get the radians.